my God, the markets are crashing. Oh, the markets. Oh my God. I thought we were safe. Oh my God, what am I going to do with my money? Oh. Every YouTuber right now. Oh my God. Oh, it's over. It's over. Bitcoin is over. I don't know what to do. It's over. I don't know. I told you guys it was going to open. Went down. Every YouTuber right now, most people right now, this is how they're reacting. People not sleeping. People didn't sleep last night. People waking up 2 o'clock in the morning, checking their portfolio, finding out that they're liquidated, right? They had some money last night. They don't have it now, right? And oh man, the world is gonna end and so on and so forth, right? Listen, the markets are not crashing, guys. The markets are not crashing. People are crashing. I'm gonna say that again. The markets are not crashing. People are crashing. Understanding market psychology. Greed, fear, expectations, and euphoria are all factors that contribute to markets' overall market psychology. The ability of these states of mind to trigger periodic. Are you reading that? The ability of these states of mind. What's the thing about a state of mind? A state of mind can change in an instant. To trigger what? Periodic risk on and risk off. Periodic risk on and risk off. In other words, boom and bust cycles in financial markets is well documented. This is a quote by Investopedia, a very, very good place for you to learn about things in general. I've learned a lot from Investopedia, right? And, you know, this is something that people don't understand. It's interesting to me when people reference markets, they act like the market is a living, breathing thing, right? And like it does what it wants to do, regardless of what people want to do. People are the market. People make up the market. So when things are down, newsflash, it's because people are selling. People are selling. When things are up, it's because people are buying. So the markets are not crashing, people are crashing. And so when people are experiencing fear, right, there's certain things, certain behaviors that they exhibit while they're experiencing fear. And there's no market that's able to, you know, so quickly turn around from greed to fear than crypto. Today's video is going to be about the science and the psychology about around 100 coin. But before I show you the science and the psychology of 100 coin, I'm going to show you what everything else is doing. I'm going to tell you the truth about people in general when it comes to finances. And then I'm going to show you what 100 is doing right now and why it's doing it, the science and the psychology behind it. And I'm just going to flow. I'm going to talk about a lot of different things. I really don't know where I'm going to start right now. But I guess I'll start with, let's deal with more of the people thing. In general, people are very risk averse. People don't like risk. So if you give them something, if you give people the option of a risky option and a non-risky option, even when that risky option has the chance to change their life, most people are going to choose the least risky option. Nobody knows that better than the banks and the institutions in the world. They live off of you not being risky, and they depend on it, and then they rig the system based on that, right? So what are we looking at right here? This is the total concentration of bank funding broken down between CDs, federal bank loans basically, and then brokered deposits, which I don't know what brokered deposits are. Maybe if you do, you can put it in the comments below, but I know what a CD is. A CD is a certificate of deposit. And what does a CD say? A CD says, give us your money, we will give you a fixed percent of interest, but you cannot touch your money for 1 year or 3 years or 5 years or whatever the term is. And so the certificate of deposit is represented by this turquoise, greenish, coral color. Federal home loans are represented by this orange color, and then you have these broker deposits. Look how much certificate of deposits dominate the bank funding since 2017. This blew my mind when I saw it. I'm like, what? What are you talking about? Look how much of it. It's triple or quadruple home loans, which if you had to ask me that question, before I looked this up, I would have told you that home loans are where the banks, get most of their funding and stuff. It's not true. It is certificate deposit. And so literally it's a fixed rate of interest. Usually it's like 1.5. It may be, more than that now a little bit. To prove that even more, here is the marketing spend for CDs that average over 4% a year, right? It's going up. So the more that they advertise, over 4%, the deposits, the marketing, everything for it goes up. This is called a clue. This means that, people are risk averse. They don't want risk. This is the total CD market cap. I don't know if it's just the United States or the world or whatever. It doesn't really say. CD market dynamics. I'm not sure if this is the world or just the United States, but we're going to add up these numbers. 2019, 13.4 and 11.6. That is 25 trillion. These are in trillions. 16.9, 10.11. That's like 28 trillion. This is like 27 trillion, 12.9 and 14.6 in 2021. In 2022, 38.7 trillion. 2023, 31.4 trillion. And then first half of 2024 is 15.1 trillion. Currently, the crypto market cap is less than 10% of all of these numbers for the year. Even this number here, the 25 trillion, maybe the entire crypto market right now is maybe 2.5 trillion. Right? It's certainly less than 10% of this 38 trillion. And literally these people are just putting money in there to make 1 to 2 or, in the rarest cases, 4% for the year. Okay. 2024, Bitcoin made more than 4%. I'm not even sure. Let me check this here. I'm not even sure Bitcoin isn't up for the year now. Maybe it's down, like as of like today. Can I get this to come up? What's going on? Okay, so it's definitely down for 2025. But people, again, as I said, they get into CDs for 5 years, 3 years, all of that. And you can clearly see back in 2020, Bitcoin was, got down to 3,800, 10,000. You could pretty much get Bitcoin for 10,000, 11,000, right? 5 years ago. 3 years ago, 21,000, 23,000, 20,000, right? Even in 2024, 27,000, 35,000, right? So while you've been chilling in your CD, Bitcoin has been going up, but yet all of the talk right now is about, oh man, everything is crashing. So generally speaking, people who don't like risk, they lose out, right? But that's the person. I'm just trying to get you guys to understand that's how people think. They'd rather, not lose money. When you go into a CD, you're losing. How is that so? They said they're paying 4%. You're losing because inflation is up more than 4%. Go to the grocery store. Check the car insurance. Check your rent. Right? My rent goes up automatically. I signed an agreement. Right? Automatically, my rent goes up more than 4% every year, no matter what. Right? So if I put money in the CD, first of all, I can't access it. But second of all, this is not making up for my rent. Okay? So you're losing. But again, banks depend on this. So anytime they want some more money, they just advertise a higher rate. Right? And so that's why when the government cuts rates, these rates automatically go down. And because they go down, people pull out their money and more money goes into the market. And we're not going to get into that. I don't want to make this longer than what it's going to be already. I'm just trying to get you to understand people, how money works, so on and so forth. Okay? So as I said, crypto is that place where, very quickly you can switch from greed, euphoria to fear. The beginning of January, everybody was like, oh, we finally have a president that's going to support business. We finally have a president that's going to support crypto, right? Everything is going to be great, so on and so forth. And I predicted this would happen in one of my videos. I said there's going to be a honeymoon period, right? And then after the honeymoon period, Bitcoin was going to drop. I said that. You can go and find that video. I didn't want to be petty and like put the thing up here and all that. I'm not a petty person, but you can go and find that video. And nobody else is giving you this kind of information but me. Nobody else is giving you this type of information. Everybody else is just saying, oh, look, it's falling. Oh, look, what are we going to do? Oh, look. That's all. They're not giving you this type of analysis. Right? But in literally 3 months, we went from euphoria to fear. 3 months. That's people. Right? And so you see it. This is like the most, this is the toughest crypto here. Bitcoin is resistant to everything. So if you see this type of, fear in Bitcoin, then it's definitely going to show itself up in other things, right? So now, what crypto, generally speaking, allows you to do, unlike stocks, unlike a CD, crypto, you can buy one day, sell the same day. Like literally, you can buy 1 minute, sell the next minute. It doesn't matter what it is. When you allow people who are greedy and fearful and everything in between, when you allow them unfettered access to being able to buy, sell, buy, sell anytime they want, two things happen. That thing goes down, right? And those who were in it for the long term, those who really believe in that project, because of all of the volatility, buying, selling, then people just don't get in. People who are on the outside looking in, they just don't get in. I don't want to be a part of that. Why would I want to be a part of that? That is the argument. It's a false argument, but that is the argument that you hear about Bitcoin all the time. Well, it's too volatile. Well, don't just say it's too volatile. You have to understand where the volatility comes from. All these other cryptos, especially ones that don't have any utility, the things that, you're getting in trying to moon, you're in stuff where people can do whatever they want to do whenever they want to. Right? So this is one of the newest meme coins on Binance. Right? And this is one wallet here. And I don't know if this is a bot. It's probably a bot, but this is the closest thing that I can find that looks like a real person. Here's April 2nd. Today is April 7th. Okay? Buys $5,000 worth of Mubarak, April 2nd. Buys another $5,000, like a few hours later. Okay? Then the next day, sells $500 something, sells $900 something, right? A few days later, sells $964. Next day, buys another $5,000. A few hours later, $2,000. Next day, $500. Next day, $261. This looks like somebody that wants Mubarak to succeed. They believe in Mubarak, or they're trading it, or whatever it is. The buys are bigger than the sells. So what has happened? Why is the price down? Probably because other people who don't believe as much, or just in it for the trade, are selling more than this person buys. There's no probably about it. That's what's happening. So this person wants to support, looks like, I'm just going based on it, right? And this is their whole history here. Oh, no, it isn't. My bad. No, it's not there. Okay. Right. So look, this is March 29th, y'all. March 29th is literally last week. Let's go back. Is that where his or her journey begins? Yes. First of all, the Mubarak coin ain't that old. All right. So we're talking about within the last week or so. Clearly, this is somebody that wants to support this project. More buys than sells. Significantly more buys than sells. But yet, it's gone down. Now, I don't know the intimate nature of Mubarak or whatever, right? I'm just telling you, this is what people do. And this is every single crypto. So what that means is, you see people selling, you're going to sell too. That's generally how it works. You see people buying, people buy. You see people selling, people sell. And then, if there's no utility or anything like that, what happens is people just, move on to the next thing, because they're trying to find the next thing where people are buying because of a narrative or something like that. They, generally speaking, they have no intention of holding long term, and they're just trying to get in and make money before the next person. So that's what happens in crypto. Oh man, I was in this Mubarak, I was buying, people are selling. So now I'm going to sell, right? Because if this guy sells, he still has a bit. If he sells, it's going to trigger more selling, probably, right? And he'll go and find another crypto, he or she, or he'll get out of crypto completely. So that's what happens when people have unfettered access, right? And there's nothing stopping them from every minute, every hour, right? Buying and selling, buying and selling. The so-called smartest people in crypto, and that's the Ethereum folk. Okay? About to get some Ethereum tea. This is Ethereum. This is the number 2 cryptocurrency, at least last time I checked, in the world. Okay? And it's been doing nothing but go. I couldn't even believe this. You're trying to tell me in December, Ethereum was $4,000? In December. Right? And so here's this person or bot, probably a bot. Again, there's significantly more buys than sells. We can look at their, see, this is the beauty about blockchain. We can look at what they're doing. So, bot or otherwise, this person has pretty much been buying for the last 11 days. $40, $30, $60, $23, $30, $16, $800, $250, $67, right? They've been buying. So now the question is, this person who was so diligent, so interested, wanting to support Ethereum, right? Who is selling when this person is buying? All right. Now, this is going to shock you. Ladies and gentlemen, I have found the Ethereum Foundation wallet. This is their wallet. There's no denying it. This is their wallet. Now, I want you to pay attention to something. This is their token balance history. This is the Ethereum Foundation. Now, what did I say? I said that in 2021, 2022, that's when things were popping. I made a mistake. I always go back and rewatch the videos and before I put them out there. And I made a mistake when I was talking about this part right here. It was confusing, but I said that this was the Ethereum token balance history. No, that wasn't. This is. And this tells an even crazier story, okay? So this, again, is the Ethereum Foundation's wallet. This is their token balance history, all right? In 2015, they had 12 million tokens, 12 million Ethereum tokens. Look what has happened since then. 6 million. 1 million, 1.5, 1.2, 700, 600, 623, 465, 435, 396, 376, 342. This number, according to this data, has never, ever, ever gone up. What? This number has never gone up. This is unbelievable. Every talking head on Twitter has been telling you to buy Ethereum, buy Ethereum, buy Ethereum, buy Ethereum is the best. Ethereum to 10,000. Ethereum is the best. It's awesome. It's the best. And literally, the Ethereum Foundation. Anytime you have a foundation, the foundation is put in place to protect that thing. Like this, like you have a foundation for the conservation of the Amazon forest, right? These people are dedicated to the protection of the Amazon forest. Imagine now if the foundation for the conservation of the Amazon forest is actually out there burning trees, destroying the Amazon forest. This is the equivalent. And I follow Ethereum. Where are the statements about why they're selling, why they've been selling, right? And what they're doing with this? Where are those statements? There are none. You know why? Because that money is going in one place and one place only. Probably their pocket. Probably in Vitalik's and others' pockets so he can travel and do whatever he does, right? Meeting robot dogs and playing with robot dogs. Again, it's not the market. Things go up because people buy. Things go down because people sell. Fundamental difference between Bitcoin and Ethereum. Not just proof of work versus proof of stake. Not all of that. It's that Satoshi has not dumped on you. They woke up and saw the Ethereum price. Oh man, what are we going to do? We're not going to buy. Oh, Ethereum is falling. What should the Ethereum Foundation do? We're not going to buy. We're not going to buy. We're going to sell. See, this is some bull. Look how much Bitcoin they have. They have 0.5 Bitcoin. They have 0.5 Bitcoin. If they had invested more in Bitcoin, they'd be more up right now. The market is not some inanimate thing. The market is made up of people. When the price goes up, it's because people are buying. When the price goes down, it's because people are selling. Like that's it. That's what's happening. Okay? So now that you understand that, and I've proven it, that people don't like risk, they hate it. They rather not lose. You give me 0 point, like we're talking about the CD market. I wonder how much money is just in checking, earning nothing. Right? That's paying 0% or worse. There's checking accounts now that are charging you monthly to keep your money there. That's insane. I found out I was in one of those. I found out I'm paying $8 a month. I'm like, it ain't no Netflix on my checking account. Right? But I don't pay that much attention to it because I don't use it like that. I live off of Bitcoin. So I keep the smallest amount possible in my checking because I don't use it. Because why do I want to have my money in something that's earning me nothing and then, might cause me problems? Right? And so, maybe if you're looking at the short term, you think, oh man, well, you losing money. No, sir. Not when I bought Bitcoin at $1,000 and I still have that Bitcoin and more. And even just in the past few years, right? This is where Bitcoin was. And this is why I don't worry about my rent so much, because even though my rent has gone up, my rent is actually in Bitcoin terms have gone down. I'll have to talk about that in another video. See, that's blowing some of y'all mind. My rent in Bitcoin terms has gone down. So if I hold my money in Bitcoin, they can keep going up as long as Bitcoin beats my rent actually goes down. Okay, another video, another time. Subscribe now so when I do that one again, I've done that one a few times, but I know I have to do stuff multiple times because different people come and all that. and they don't know me, and you know, they leave little snarky comments when I tell you stuff is gonna happen, but then it happens, and then you should recognize, okay, maybe this guy knows what he's talking about. All right, so now that I've explained that, now let me show you first what 100 has done. Okay, so now notice let me bring this down. Notice, what do you see? Notice 100 does not look like the other stuff that we've showed you. We just showed you that in December 2024, Ethereum was $4,000, is now $1,500. Well, December 2024, 100 was $39.76. It's now $78.47, right? Just about 100% in that same time frame. Okay, in market cap terms, that's like 4 million market cap to almost 8 million market cap right now. That's the way that you should look at it. Okay, so just to show you what this actually looks like, okay, because it's one thing to talk about it, it's another thing to actually see it. This is a random wallet. I just chose a random wallet. I will do another one or 2 or 3 live, so you see, right? But this person just bought $20 in 113 hours ago. All right, and if I go back, you can see that they've been consistently buying since 5 months and 23 days ago. Okay, and the price was $69.35. They bought $133. And then the price went down a bunch because somebody decided to sell their whole bag, right? But what did they do? Did they panic? No, this was 9 days after. They bought another $195, and then $212. Watch the price. $151, $25 there. Price is going up now. $195. $1 to protect their wallet. $100. Price is steadily moving up. 39 cents. 7 days later, 18 cents. 7 days later, a penny. Right? And they just keep DCAing, buying every week, every couple weeks. And now, because they didn't panic and everything, now from back here, from when this was down, this $195 buy is now up more than 100%. Okay, let's do somebody else. Okay, I do not know these wallets. I have no idea who they are. Let's see here. Let's check this wallet. Okay, and you can see same thing from 6 months ago. They're just buying small amounts. There's $100 there, right? This is at 8 million market cap now, folks. They've been buying since 4. So you can get a lot for a little. $100 is 2.6 million 100, right? Now we're gonna come back to that. He has 2.6 million 100 on this one here. Just steady buys, topping up his wallet, and then 8 hours ago, right? Another one there. I'm trying to show one that has sold. Okay, so this person, right, started buying 3 months ago, $4 here, then $47 here, right? And because the price has gone up, they decided to sell, right? Which you can do. They made a mistake, I can tell you that. But, right, you see that you can sell. So this is a completely different crypto that takes, a lot of the emotions, out of the situation. You know what I'm saying? And you see none of these. I'm just trying to click on randoms here. None of these were able to do anything within 100 hours. Right? So this person started 2 months, 7 days ago. Then a month, 27 days ago. A month, 17 days ago. A month, 11 days ago. A month, 2 days ago. 27 days ago. 23 days ago. 14 days ago. 9 days ago. 2 days ago. Not this right here within hours of each other. And for all the people that say, well, crypto doesn't need that. We don't need a certificate of deposit in crypto, whatever. Okay. I beg to differ. And 100 has had its challenges. It's had people that, got in early, sold a bunch. Every crypto goes through that. Bitcoin went through that. But literally, while everything else, right, because it doesn't have anything about a code, right? There's nothing like, every single one of these cryptos up here, I'm looking up here, their code is pretty much the same. And we're supposed to be in this world where, everything is crypto, is different and new technology. What's the new technology when all cryptos are acting the same and you can treat them the same? Right? Because hundreds had a lot of haters. Oh, it doesn't need that, this and that. And so, okay, what I'm looking at right here looks different. There's a reason why this looks different than this. And the reason is the code is different. Now, it doesn't mean that it's going to automatically be successful. But at least there's something different about it that allows it to thrive even when a bunch of people don't know about it. When you decide to get in with any other crypto right now, you're deciding to get into a crypto where if anybody wants to manipulate that crypto, they can. Anybody wants to sell anytime they want, right after you buy, they can. Somebody wants to manipulate it to the up or downside. The thing about a pump and dump is the first word is what? What's the first word? Pump. It's not a pump and dump unless you pump it first. This is a pump and dump. Pump, dump. That's what a pump and dump looks like. Hype, all the hype in the world, hype. Right? And then as soon as they're ready, they dump. And there's no recovery here. Right? This is another one that I tried to come out and tell people, yo, this is a scam. Right? This is going to dump. People gave me hate for that. This was the easiest call I've ever made. And if you are in this right now, this is not going to recover. You need to sell this. Right? Because there are people who didn't buy, people who own all of the tokens. Right? This wallet here, which didn't buy any, still has 80% of all the tokens. And they are scheduled to begin selling at some time in the near future. What do you think is going to happen then? But they'll, mark my words, write this down. There'll be some marketing. There'll be some, we're going to do this. We're going to launch a metaverse. We're going to do this, which is going to bring in more people only for them to dump on you. This was the biggest mistake that I made this year. This was the biggest mistake that I made so far this year. What are you talking about, BSG? Biggest mistake I made is here. I knew that this was going to go down. I knew it was going to go down, and I didn't short it. Oh, man. I knew it was going to go down, and I didn't short it because I just, I'm just done with the trading and stuff. 100 has taught me how to hold. I knew how to hold before 100, but 100 helps me even more, and I understand more. There's nothing to this, right? But I just didn't want to get caught up in the trading and stuff like that. But, man, I could have made a lot of money, and I even thought about shorting it again at 30-something, and you see we're at $7. I personally believe is that we're going to see like a whole new, a bunch of coins doing this, like these little baby certificate of deposits. And that's what 100 is. It's a 100-hour certificate of deposit. So let's talk about the potential of that, right? The potential of that, we're talking about the CD market being worth 30 trillion. Still don't know if that's globally or America, doesn't matter. 30 trillion market cap. 1% of 30 billion. 30 trillion, excuse me. 1% of 30 trillion is 300 billion. At 300 billion, each one of these 100 tokens will be worth $3. $3. So if we go back to that person, was that person that was they bought like 2 million tokens, right? That could be at 1% of the traditional CD market, that could be $6 million. What if it only just does a third of that? Now it's 100 billion. Now each 100 is $1. So you might be laughing at this person that keeps buying. You might be laughing. Here's my man right here. I don't know who this is. You might be laughing, right, at this person keeps buying $20 worth. You see, $20, $20, $20. But he or she is getting 288,100 every single time. Even when he's buying a penny, right? Why would he be buying a penny? Because anytime you buy, it stops all transfers on your account. So if somebody tries to hack you, they can't get it. If somebody tries to phish you, they can't get it. So literally all the hacks that have happened in crypto this year and last year and the year before could have been prevented with just this little simple metric right here, this little simple mechanism, and you can protect your wallet for literally a penny or 10 cents or, whatever, depending on how the exchange is working. I'm not here to talk about that part. I'm just here to talk about helping people manage their emotions part. Right? Yeah, it also stops hackers and phishers and attacks on your account, and right? It's all of that. But just this part, a third of 300 billion, which is a third of 1% of the entire CD market, is 100 billion. That puts every 100 at $1. And right now is significantly less than a penny, 0.00007. I'm not telling you it's going to be Bitcoin. I'm not telling you it's going to be 10% of the CD market or 1%. I'm not telling you any of that. What I am telling you is it's not even 8 million market cap right now. And it does something probably the most important thing, which is help you manage your emotions. More importantly, right? There are people who buy Bitcoin that don't want to trade. There are people who buy Bitcoin like me who want to hold, who plan to hold. But even those people can succumb to fear. And even those people, they have to be annoyed that people don't see the vision like they see it. And so temporarily, their money goes down. Everybody can't do that. But see, we have to deal with that. Right? So holding Bitcoin as long as I've had to hold it, and it's not that I have to, it's because Bitcoin is one of the few things that I trust. I bought here, I have to endure 2 years, 3 years later, we're down here. So now 2017 is just now getting back to where I bought it. And then what do you know? A few months later, it's 18,000. Now I'm like, yeah, finally, okay. I can finally get my wife off my back. Now, what you got to say now? Right? But I had to endure this. But this time I knew down here, I knew, yay, this is temporary. But I had to endure all of these traders. Everything that you see here, this is not the market. This is people. People sold here. People sold here. People sold here. So would I have liked it if there was a mechanism in place, right, that, made people hold for 100 hours? Absolutely. Because if it did, the chart would look different. And for a lot of people, they look at the chart, they make all their decisions based off the chart. You should not do that. You should make your decisions based on the fundamentals. Right? But yeah, I've had to endure this. And others have as well. Right? So I think, as I said, 100 could birth an entire new category of cryptos that are like certificates of deposit. And this is the first one. And we know from history, things that are first, the first mover advantage, they have to go through more, but they establish themselves as the dominant, thing in the category. Right? So hopefully you understand this is not everything. This is just the psychology, why this is working when other things are failing. And it has worked even when people have dumped. And some people have dumped specifically to try to disprove 100 or hurt the people that are involved. And the thing about it is, like, if you go back and just look at Bitcoin, right? Not much is changing from 100 hours to 100 hours. Let's look here, right? I picked a random spot, okay? Wednesday, the 19th, what is this? 19th of March? Okay. Right? What's the price? $84,000. Now, let's go. 100 hours is basically 4 days. So let's go 4 days later. So we're looking for the 23rd. All right, let's go to the 23rd. You see the price, 84,697. Let's go find the 23rd. Is this the 23rd here? There you go, 84,118. Not much difference, okay? So now let's go find the 27th. All right, we go find the 27th. Here is where we at. Here's the 27 here, 87, 87.3, 86, 87 even, right? Over the last 8 days, higher, right? The 23rd, we was 84. The 19th, we were 84. 8 days later, 87. Now, what happened in between all of this is it went from 83 all the way up to 87, 83, 83, right? Up to 88. And what happened, even though these aren't big numbers, what happened in these movements, people lost at least hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars. Right? You see this little thing down here. In the last 24 hours, the crypto market has faced 1.36 billion in liquidations. This in the last 24 hours. So it's probably billions lost between these 4-hour, 100-hour periods. All of these people wished that, number one, they didn't use leverage, which you should not do, and wish they just held. Right? Even if you're down a bit, you're not losing everything. But again, that's people. This is people. Right? So this is the issue. Even if we go to the 27th, we're still around 87 something. Right? So now we'll see 100 hours from now where we're at. But long-term holders are always rewarded. But when people get in crypto, because they've never had to, they've never had access. In fact, some people come to crypto just because they don't qualify to day trade stocks. You don't qualify to day trade stocks. You got to have 25,000 minimum to day trade stocks, pattern day trading rule. So they come to crypto with $1,000 thinking that they're going to turn that 1,000 into 25,000. And so they're going into if you're wondering how people can lose money on going from 87 to 83 is literally what a 4% move. If you had invested $100,000, you'd have $96,000. Ooh. If you invested $10,000, you'd have $9,600. Ooh. That's not life changing. That's not wife changing. Your wife ain't gonna leave you. I hope not. Because you had 10,000 and now you got 9,600. If your wife gonna leave you for that, then you needed another wife anyway. My wife has had to endure me losing by holding millions of dollars. But over time, all of that came back. Why? Because I held. So that is the issue. People not knowing how to manage their emotions. It's that simple. Right? And so since people aren't used to it in traditional finance, because traditional finance tells you to go sit down for 15 years. And what's scary about that is the people who are managing your money, they are allowed to trade. So if something go down, they're allowed to sell. See, that's the thing that people miss. In 2008, some of these people knew this stuff was coming, and so they started selling, but you weren't allowed to sell. That's why Satoshi made Bitcoin. Because it's like, wait a minute, we need control over our funds. Well, now people have come into Bitcoin with the wrong mentality, and they're now treating Bitcoin like a casino. A lot of these moves going up and down has everything to do with the futures market and Nadex and binary options, and all of that nonsense. I'll have to cover that in a separate video because that's its own video. Stay away from that stuff, but there are things in that stuff that trigger these kind of moves. Right? So the best thing to do is to just hold something with utility, right? Something that is trying to change crypto for the better, you know, something that has benefits. Bitcoin has so many benefits, right? And it's still very much undervalued at, you know, 1.4 trillion market cap. 100 probably has even more benefits than Bitcoin. It's at 8 million market cap. Okay. Right? So hopefully you understand more about the psychology and science of 100 and the market in general. Why things go up, why things go down, what you should do. And, you know, it's really simple. Don't buy stupid stuff unless you got money to burn. Right? Buy stuff with utility and then, you know, chill out. And in the case of 100, it helps you chill. All right? It's your boy BSG. I'm going to holler at y'all in the next video.